Good morning, everybody. It's the 30th of October. It's a Saturday, and it's Addiction of Days 24, part 24. Yeah, it's already 36, and it's 10 past 9 in the morning. It's 36 degrees. And some nice overcast days. Grass got some nice rain. I was cut it again on Monday. And I don't know if you won't hear the river on the phone. But the river's flowing nice and strong. The lack of bit of rain that we've had. Last night was like a teaser of a storm coming through. It was a lot of wind, a lot of noise, and then it spritzed down. And then it was over. So yeah. Freaking dog irritated me just now. And she's got this thing where she's fussy about what she eats now. You know? But this is her grandmother's doing. Because her grandmother mixes cat pellets with her pellets just to get her to eat. So now she wants freaking cat food all near some moer. Bloody dog, not a cat. I'll eat cat, dog's food, you mugu. So now, so yeah, specialty. I'm gonna make my jalapeno popper video just now. Ooh, I'm looking forward to that. So yeah, 24th addiction story of a video, if you want to call it that. It's not really a story. And that's 30th of October. And that's 12 more days. 12 more days. And I turn 8. And I turn 8. 8 years sober. Never thought I would see this amount of time sober. Well, yeah, never thought I'd get sober anyway. Yeah, I thought I would freaking die. It's funny, I mean, I was thinking about this last night. I never really thought I'd make it past 2025. And in 12 days' time, I'm turning 8 years sober. And then on the 24th of this month, I'm turning 42. So, the way I was living my life, I never thought I'd make it past 2025, latest. Here I am, chasing down 50. So, you know, it's like when people talk about spirituality and stuff like that, you know, and I got to, I have to, you know, I have to put my 5 cents worth in and say, you know what, you see where I am today, there definitely is a God. God is good all the time. God is good. You have to finish it there. You have to say the whole thing, eh? And just as God is real, well, you know, speaking for me only, people, please, you know, I'm not pushing Christianity on you or religion on you or anything. Everybody has their own views, their own religion, their own higher power as they see it or her or it. But as I was saying, so as I see God, my God, you know, I also have to confess to the fact that there is a devil. Not only have I witnessed God's grace, but I have also witnessed the evil of the devil. So, for me, 42 years old, I spent more than 20 years of my life in active addiction. Started smoking like 11 years old. Lost my virginity when I was 12. I was already drinking by that age anyway. Smoked weed, started smoking weed at about 12. Took my first line of hard drugs when I was about 13. So, you know, and then of course, it's just Bola Makisi, somersaulting. So for me, to be hitting 42 years of age and only having the problems I have, the physical problems, the lungs, the heart, the weight problem, mental problems, serious mental issues, short-term memory loss. It's quite funny. At times it is quite funny. I walk into the house and I open the fridge and I stand in front of the fridge and I close the fridge and I'm like, what the hell was I doing? What am I doing? What do I want? you know? Um, More than 20 years of stupidity. But God's grace has got me to where I am today. Survived a life of addiction, survived streets, survived jail, over numerous overdoses, survived being poisoned. Fuck. Hey, never in my life would I have ever imagined that sometime a time will come where I will be poisoned. Organophosphate is what some young man did to me by pouring it in my Oros. Still today I don't touch Oros. It freaks me out. And then it was DKA, diabetic ketoacidosis or some crap. I don't know how to pronounce it. It's a hectic name, dude. So when I was hospitalized and then being told that I am now a diabetic, that was cocktail. About 2 weeks, slurred speech, permanently thirsty, permanently thirsty. Nothing you drank got rid of that thirst. But those two hospital trips, the poisoning and the DKA, I don't remember the trips. I remember bits and pieces, especially the poisoning one. The poisoning one is the one that has given me quite some cut in the trauma side. And so yeah, those two trips I don't remember much, and just waking up in hospital kind of thing. With the poisoning one is that I remember being put in the car to be taken to hospital. And I remember waking up in ICU on a gurney with a nurse counting my heartbeat. And when I opened my eyes and I was like staring at her, and she looked at me and she said, "Welcome back." My first response to her was, "Where the fuck did I go?" So it's apparently when I had a heart attack. So when I was loaded in the car that time period, I had a mini stroke apparently. Had a heart attack there. And then the worst part for me was this. Was waking up with a pipe down my throat and I was strapped to the bed. The doctors and the nurses were all standing this side, and the doctor was talking to the nurse, but I was choking on this pipe and I couldn't breathe. And I was trying to get everybody's attention, but nobody was noticing or ignoring me because obviously, up until that point, I'd been, you know, I have this thing in my head is that it doesn't matter how I am, buxom, beaten, or, half dead, I have to be on my feet. I have to be on my feet. If I'm on my feet, I'm okay. So that whole flight or fight thing, So my flight switch doesn't work. It's fight, fight, fight. And so obviously I've been fighting up until that point, and that's hence why I was strapped. And this was the worst feeling in my life, which has now put this mental block in my head, which is now a living fear of mine. And that's of suffocating. I was so close to suffocating or choking on this bloody pipe that everything inside me just said, lost, just go. I remember sitting up on the bed and I pulled on these straps and I broke these straps on the bed, grabbed the pipe and I pulled the pipe out. As I pulled the pipe out, I heard the doctor, "Fuck sakes." And that was the last thing I remember. Then waking up in general ward. So it was, or not general ward, recovery, ICU recovery. And that, surviving DKA, freaking COVID, get sick of COVID, surviving that. And that has also got some lingering issues, you know. And this is all, except for the COVID, okay, except that's almost part, but the poisoning and the DKA is all due to a life of addiction and drugs and everything and all that stuff involved. So, you know, it was a drug addict that poisoned me. So, hence, it's all part of addiction. Um, it was a client at a rehab that I worked at that didn't quite like what I, had to tell him. Um, you know, he lived in a life of fantasy. So yeah, and of course the body has taken damage from, a life of drug abuse, alcohol abuse, sex abuse, physical abuse. Not so much, physical scarring, or should I say, the inner scarring outweighs the physical, you know, scarring that you can see on the outside. Is Well, we were having a chat the other night with one of, well, a WhatsApp group, a couple of us that went to the same rehab that are also, doing well and staying clean and all that. We were talking and we were talking about our demons in the closet. And even still today, I cannot go to sleep in a dark room. If my room is dark, I freak out. I can't sleep because I'm hearing every kind of noise you can imagine. Hell, there's me up walking around the house with a torch. You know, is there somebody here? Is there somebody on the roof? You know, it's almost like it's almost like you know, being high on crack and fucking thinking that the aliens are coming to get you. So my TV is always on in my room. In the daytime, I can go to sleep no problem, you know. But at night, the TV has to be on. The TV volume doesn't have to be loud. I can just barely hear the TV. But as long as my TV's on, I sleep. But it's not a dead sleep because you know your skeletons still come and get you. And but because if you make peace with your higher power and surrender, okay, these skeletons won't keep you up. You will deal with it, wave it goodbye, and go back to sleep. So the moral of what I'm trying to say, guys, is there's for every action there's a reaction. It's cause and effect. So if you want to continue drinking, you want to continue drugging, just remember it's gonna take you someplace eventually that you're not going to want to be. You can see one of my scars here down my lip. So I scar my nose. Right about there. Went to the doctor. We're having a physical, you know. He puts a light up your nose. He looked at me and he goes, "How many times did you fall on your face?" Life of addiction is not fun, people. It's a dark place. Very dark place. Right, so let's get to the scheduled programming. Ladies and gentlemen, that was a little bit of my life story. Give you a little bit more background on moi. You know, as we carry on doing these videos, I will um, share a bit more about my past and my life and stuff like that. And obviously, if you guys want to know more, you're more than welcome to message. I will reply. Um, Only replies that I don't, or any messages I don't reply to, and please, I don't reply to silly messages. I don't entertain people who are trying to be silly, or as I like to call them, trying to be an ass clown. So, as I've said many times before, this is my point of view. You have your own point of view. Good. Okay. Also, once again, I am not a part of AA or NA or CA, please, but I do use their literature. I also have a green and gold of theirs, which is the 12 steps. It breaks down the 12 steps for you and all sorts of things. It's quite a good book. I like their literature. It's very helpful. It's very insightful. Um, so yes. So yeah. So I do this for myself mainly, as well as trying to reach that still suffering addict, which may be you, who needs to hear whatever nonsense I'm talking, okay, or whatever I'm busy talking about on that day. Hopefully. Cool. So it is the 30th of October, people. Right, eh? Heading is courage. Okay. Our newly found faith serves as a firm foundation for courage in the future. Okay. Basic text, page 96. I hate hot weather. If I could move to Nome, Alaska, man, 3 months summer, the rest of the year is winter, snow. I could move there yesterday, I would. I love the cold weather. You know, must be that Viking blood. Right. Narcotics Anonymous is no place for the faint of heart. As we said before, recovery is difficult. Addiction is easy. Okay, so that's what it's not for the faint of heart. Facing life on life's terms without the use of drugs isn't always easy. No, it's not. Because we as addicts, when times get tough, we run to our crutch. Yeah. And even when times are good, we use it as an excuse. Ah, it's been such a great day. Come here, buddy, let's celebrate. When you've had a bad day, it's such a guck day. I've got to get some stuff. Face life on life's terms, people. Isn't always easy. Recovery requires more than hard work. It requires a liberal dose of courage. In the beginning, it is very scary. It is very scary because you're entering a world you don't know. Well, you've forgotten it. Okay. So you're entering a world that you last freaking visited when you were probably a child. Okay. So now you're coming into recovery. So now you're entering this whole new world. And it can be scary. Because the world that we're used to, we've been able to put the blinkers on. It's like I always said to you, it's like when my mother asked me, what was it like using heroin? Because I didn't inject, I used to sniff it. And not that it makes a difference, but anyway. So she asked me, what was it like? And I would say, best way I can explain it is when I take that first hit, the rest of the world can collapse around me, can fall apart. Couldn't give a shit. Couldn't give a shit. I'm happy because I've got my goedjies, my stuff inside. Bugger the rest of you. Right. What is courage anyway? A quick look at a dictionary will tell us we have courage when we face and deal with anything that we think of as difficult, dangerous, or painful, rather than withdrawing from it. Courage means being brave, having a purpose, having a spirit. So what is courage really? Courage is an attitude, one of perseverance, not ignorance or cockiness. Okay, courage is perseverance. When times get tough, you keep going that way. It's like that one saying, it says, don't look behind you. Okay, you're not going that way. Keep your eyes forward. Right. So, perseverance. That's what an addict in recovery really needs. Perseverance. You're going to get lots of days where you're going to want to give up. You're going to want to throw the towel in. But this is how it worked for me. Okay, and this, like I say, there's going to be many days where you want to give up. You get that first week under your belt. And something happens, it's like so tough, man. Then you got to keep telling yourself, I've already done 1 week. Okay, but I really want to use today. Then you keep telling yourself, okay, I won't use today. I want to use today, but I'll use tomorrow. Let me just get through today. Tomorrow comes, I'll use tomorrow. Tomorrow arrives. It's a better day. You don't want to use. You're going. So every time you get that day where you want to use, you just keep telling yourself, let me just get through today. All right? I'll use tomorrow. And I promise you, by tomorrow, or even that same day, you've already forgotten. A craving is 10 seconds. A craving is literally 10 seconds of your time. It's entertaining the thought of that craving that drives us crazy. The actual physical craving is 10 seconds. It's entertaining the thought that makes you mad, drives you nuts. As I said before, this is our weakest tool, people. The moment that thought hits you, that's when the battle starts. And remember, as I'm saying, you're going to have plenty tough days. You get that first week, you get that first month under your belt. Keep telling yourself, keep reminding yourself, what was it like there? It was shit. It was cuck. How am I feeling right now? I may be craving, but how am I feeling? Clean, healthy. I don't smell, because I bathed. These are things I kept telling myself and kept reminding myself. The longer I was clean, and the more, whenever I had these moments, I kept reminding myself what it was like in jail, in prison. That fucking smell. Everything smelled like fucking piss. Excuse my language, but everything smelled like piss and shit. Everything. And the worst was going through withdrawals. Jay. Because, hey, if you're a drug addict, they don't give you medication. Suffer, puppy, suffer. And as a heroin addict, if you're a heroin addict and you're sober, you know what I'm talking about. When you hit that withdrawal, hey, day 5, day 6, it's now got you. That demon is twisting you. You projectile vomiting here, but you projectile shitting that way. Same time. Now you're in prison. You're hugging the toilet, but you're vomiting there, but you're shitting there at the same time. And you're in a cell with 60 other people. They don't like you. And now you must clean this shit up. It's that thought that I kept reminding myself and saying, no, I'm not going back there. Hell no. Keep going forward. Courage. Find something that will remind you to keep you, giving you courage to go forward. Use that courage. Use it. Because I'm telling you, we all have those memories. Something that was the worst. Well, it's all the worst, but anyway. Right. That's what an addict in recovery really needs, perseverance. We make the commitment to stick with our program, to avoid using, no matter what happens. A courageous addict is one who doesn't use, one day at a time, no matter what. Like I said just now, let me get through today. Tomorrow's another day. One day at a time, people. One day at a time. That's all you can do. There we go. One day at a time, no matter what. And what gives us courage? A relationship with a higher power gives us the strength and the courage to stay clean. We know that so long as we are in God's care, as you understand Him, we will have the power we need to face life on its own terms. Just for today, I have a higher power who cares for me no matter what. Knowing that, I will strive to have an attitude of courage today. I always tell my clients that you need to find something that you can distract yourself with. Okay, because like I said, craving is 10 seconds. It's entertaining the thought of the craving that lasts hours. Okay. So especially on like weekends, a new recruits, the dome, new fresh addicts in recovery. Okay. Come weekends, ha, that's when the craving starts. The driving you nuts happens. Find something that you can keep yourself entertained with, that you can distract yourself with. Right. So I bought my first Xbox in recovery. I went and bought my first Xbox. And when I started having that craving, I go and I put the Xbox on and I sit there and I try and play one game. Nah, my mind's still on this. So I take the game out, try another game. No. And eventually I've gone through all my games, but I'm still, cycling this idea in my head. So eventually you just sit there and you just play this game. Or I just played this game. So boring. I just keep going. And eventually you've distracted yourself long enough that that crazy thought is now, it's gone. I used to have a friend that I stayed with. He was a sober person. We were flatmates, if you want to call it that. And he knew my past. We were good friends, many years, many years. And when I came into sobriety, and that he kind of knew my past and stuff like that. So if the Xbox didn't work, I'd go to him and I'd say to him, "Hey, you want to take me for a drive?" you know, because I didn't want to drive by myself because accidents happen, and I like driving. I like to drive to clear my head. But in that stage when you're still fresh, no, you're gonna find yourself where you shouldn't be. And so yeah, then we would climb in the car. We would just take a little drive, nowhere interesting, just drive, drive to the McDonald's, go to the drive-through, get a milkshake or something. So the whole thing is with the courage now, right? What we just read. Take that courage and speak to whoever you are living with, whoever's closest to you, okay? And speak to them and let them know what triggers you, what doesn't trigger you, all these things. Because only if you have the courage to come out and tell your loved ones, family, friends, whatever, what sets you off, what doesn't set you off, okay? Nobody's going to know how to deal with you. And it is scary talking to people about it. But courage, people. find your center. Cool. Let's quickly finish off with a thought for the day. Right. Leaders need to respond to individuals based on their needs rather than their faults. The Lord encourages us to see what others need, even our enemies, and respond accordingly. Good leaders do this well. They don't lead predetermined out of a predetermined package of behaviors, but by every situation and discern what must happen to reach the desired goal. Uh, Excuse me, I thought I read that wrong. Okay, package of behaviors, but size up every situation and discern what must happen to reach the desired goal. Same thing in recovery. You are the leader of your recovery, no one else. The further you get in your recovery, the more time you have under your belt. You too will fight for your recovery like a damn pit bull on the end of a rope. Oops. Your recovery is yours, no one else's. You want your recovery, you fight for it. Every day. Every second of every day. One day at a time. Love you all. Peace be with you all. God bless. Adios.